Welcome to the 5th International University Symposium on Humanities and Arts 2020 that will be held as a virtual conference. My name is Rianti, Manullang.
And I am Christina Suprihatin. We are from Department of Literature, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. We would like to take this opportunity to talk about our research on framing of humanitarian mission of Zending and Freemasonry in the Sumatra Post and at Nieuwsblad for Sumatra. This presentation is divided into 5 parts: introduction, research program, methods, analysis, and conclusion. To begin with the presentation, I would like to explain about the context of our research. In the colonial era, the Dutch colonial task of the missionary, sending workers, is not only to spread religious belief, but also to accomplish civilization mission. This is following the concept of 2 pioneers of civilization, namely trade and Christianity, from Boehmer. Mission work in the Karo and Batak areas is financially supported by a tobacco company in North Sumatra, the Deli Maatschappij. On the opposite way, Stevens found that colonial Freemasonry as a humanitarian movement had to stand and against Zending for centuries. The school of which generally subsidized by the Dutch colonial government and which of course had nothing to do with neutral, non-Christian education that Freemasonry propagated. What has been achieved by Freemasonry in the fields of education and emancipation is often impressive despite all the opposition from the colonial rulers.
From the brief introduction on what humanitarian mission works in the colonial Sumatra, we would like to investigate how the mission of Zending and Freemasonry were framed in the Dutch newspaper The Sumatra Post and had Nieuwsblad for Sumatra during 1940 to 1949. 1940 to 1949 is the times of crisis for the Netherlands and the colony Dutch East Indies. In 1940 to 1942, the German crossed the border into the Netherlands. And in 1942 to 1945, the Dutch forces surrendered to the Japanese. In 1945, the colonial Dutch East Indies tried to form independent Indonesia. Moreover, before the Dutch transfers the sovereignty to Indonesia in 1949, there was a military aggression known as politional actions in between.
Our research is taking its focus on the operation of specific new frames, identifies a range of factors that shape the initial terms of the subsequent mission from 2 Dutch newspapers during particular period. The steps of our research is as follows. First, data mining through Delpen, an online Dutch archive resources. Second, data searching based on Dutch keywords related to our topics, such as vrijmetselarij, Deli, Zending and Misi, Sumatra, Kerk, Christen, Makonik, etc. Third, data selecting 14 articles in the Sumatra Post and 4 articles in the Nieuwsblad for Sumatra. Last, data interpretation using the concept of Orientalism, media framing, and ideological contestation.
First, Jubileum. Both groups reported celebrating their work. Zending 50 years in 1940 and Freemasonry 60 years in 1948. From this time frame, it can be seen that Freemasonry started its work before Misi and Zending. In this Jubilee commemoration moment, both of them show the challenge faced in times of crisis. Freemasonry has to fight against opposition from various parties, from the Nazi era to the Japanese occupation, until it was banned in Indonesia. On the other hand, Zending also emphasizes its struggle in carrying out a mission amid a crisis, especially financial. At the time this news was published in 1940, the socio-political situation in the Netherlands began to shake due to Nazi expansion in Europe. Second point, ideology. In the Sumatra Post newspaper, it was reported how Freemasonry has expanded its ideology by holding discussion events about the New World Order. And Zending work is reported in the Sumatra Post by expanding the mission area. Both of them tried to spread ideology in Delhi. However, there is no news in the newspaper which indicates directly that the two contradict each other. The third point, social mission. As the core value of humanist mission work, the two groups emphasized how their efforts were to develop the community in Delhi so that they had the adequate infrastructure for their life. What's interesting about the news about Freemasonry is that they do not intend to publish it. As one of the relatively secret societies, this is considered normal. But it is very contradictory when the news of the Jubilee appears in the media and seems to show a series of their works over the years. This brings me to the end of this presentation. The analysis suggests that either Zending or Freemasonry were struggled in times of crisis, but they remained up to 50 to 60 years in Delhi, Sumatra. The distribution of ideology is also conducted by doing discussion activities or expansion in other regions. Both also express the social missions in Delhi and build local communities. In the post-colonial perspective, this work is based on civilization mission, for the thinking that the indigenous people in Sumatra need superior Western to get involved in making their growth. Both missions do not show confrontation in media news, but both seek to do ideological infiltration through social work and other public missions. Thank you for your attention.